Hi, hello, and welcome back to part two of this special episode of Cricstatic. The same panelists with me again, just me changing my attire, but we're continuing the shoot right now. So we're going to continue exactly where we left off. I was talking about Sanju versus Pant and how Sanju is more deserving, and someone who advocated for Sanju Samson as captain of the T20 World Cup squad if Rohit Sharma wasn't picked will continue with their 11 now. Sai, what do you feel of what do you make of this squad? What's your 11? How do you look to construct it?
So that's why I think we need to understand that no selection decision is between two people. Like a selection decision is always based on the entire composition of the 11, right? It's never A or B, it's A plus C or B plus T, right? So if you look at it from that angle, as good as Jaiswal is, I don't see him fitting into this T20 11, given that Rohit and Virat have been picked. Jaiswal's one of my favorite players. Dropping him doesn't make me feel good at all. In an ideal world, he would be there, but I think given the current composition of side, Kohli at three is a no-no for me. I just can't see that happening. That will suck all the momentum out of the middle overs, and we'll end up losing half our games if you ask me. So I'd have Rohit and Kohli opening with Surya Kumar, Dubey, and Samson being flexible between 3 and 5. So if a wicket falls in the first few overs, I'd have Samson. If it falls towards the end of the power play, I'd have Surya. And if it falls post the power play, probably Surya, but then Dubey at 4 with Samson dropping down to 5, which isn't ideal, but we know how good he is, right? He's a player who's pretty versatile. And Samson versus Pant isn't even a debate for me right now. Samson should be clearly ahead. And given that we're playing Samson ahead of Pant, having a left-hander in Dubey in the middle order becomes more important to take on those
Correct.
left arm spin and leg spin matchups. And I think Shashwat hit the nail on the head there with Jadeja, not just the from the team management's perspective, but in general. So I think without that batting depth, to put it simply, our top order doesn't inspire enough confidence for us to go in with a batting lineup that ends at 8. So simply for that reason, I'd have Jadeja and Akshar there. And the second pacer, I don't think it honestly matters between Siraj and Ashdeep, whoever they pick, because they're pretty similar bowlers. They bowl in the power play at the death. Both of them don't have much middle overs value. So I'd rely on Hardik and maybe sneak one over in of Dubey if possible.
That the two-way over might be a gamble, but you're right because you need that one sneak over inside the 20.
Yeah,
You can't.
I think it's a gamble worth taking, but it is what
I
it
think,
is.
yeah, I felt the composition is something that the selectors and Rohit Sharma didn't work out properly. This is where I feel, something like a Rinku, someone like a Rinku Singh is a lucrative to have, that position would be cemented then. But yeah, we'll address that in a bit. Now, coming on to Abhinav's 11, because I am waiting for this. You call the squad horse shit. Now, I want to see what you're going to work out from this this squad. What is the 11 that you're working out from this? From the 15 players that you're being presented with?
Um, I think I've got to go with what Krishna Sai said actually that uh, considering the value that Dubey would bring into the middle order,
Yeah,
especially on what could be considered as probably slightly the more slower services in the US and in Caribbean, where so somebody with Dubey's explosive middle order hitting against spin especially, he's battered any and all kinds of spin this year. I mean, he's taken no prisoners. He's been an equal opportunity offender in that sense. He's he's hammered off spinners. He's hammered a left arm spinner. He's hammered leg spinners, all in the same way. And there's been nobody who's been spared in that sense. So I think it would make sense to capitalize on the the momentum that Dubey is going to bring in. So I think they'll have to accommodate him in the middle order, and that definitely, unfortunately, means Jaiswal would have to be the one dropping out. I see them going for the second left-hander as well. I think they'll still start Pant over Samson. So what I feel is that it'll be Kohli and Rohit at the top.
but what
Surya
is
will
the
bat
reason?
three.
What is the reason for
I
Pant
think
picking Samson?
again the left-hander thing. I mean, which you're in a way you're taking care with Dubey, but I
Hmm.
think there's you're banking on Pant to have one of those games where he suddenly goes into his head completely turns 180 and he starts taking bowlers left. He starts picking everybody left, right, and center and starts. It's like a demolition derby after that. You're banking on Pant having one of those days where he just goes absolutely kaboom, and he levels the entire opposition out in that sense. One nuclear explosion, and that's it. He's that sort of a player. So I think they'll probably stick with Pant. So at the top you'll have Rohit and Virat opening together. Surya at three. Have Dubey, Pant, and Hardik all floating interchangeably. I think Hardik most likely will have to stick at six because in the middle order, Pant this year has been, I mean, on firstly him being back on the pitch itself is a huge achievement, and then despite everything, he's actually turned in a very very stellar season. I mean, he's been amongst runs, even if the strike rate has been slightly up and down, and he's been a little slow against spin as such, but he's really turned things up. He's really turned the heat up mm, for Delhi this year. So I think I'd stick with the two left-handers bunched up in at number 4 and 5. Hardik at six. Ideally, ideally I wouldn't have picked touched Jadeja with a 69 feet barge pole in the for a T20 squad. I think I wouldn't have touched Ravinder Jadeja ever. But considering that he's here, he'll have to bat seven. Akshar will have to be eight, and then Kuldeep and whoever you choose uh, alongside Bumrah. It's like vibes and inshallah. You're just relying on vibes and inshallah.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, that's summed it up quite well, honestly. But the last line took the cake for me. But anyways, coming on to my squad, I think it's almost the same squad, just with a position change for me. I am going Rohit Virat opening for the same reason as Sai stated, that in case Virat, has Andanal Nyabagam in Tamil, we'll say, going back to the old days and starts playing that old, that when he's playing the spinners slowly in the power play, then it becomes a problem. So sorry, in the middle overs, I have to have Virat opening with Rohit Sharma just for the safety factor. Then one down, I'm going to be playing Sanju Samson. And this is because he has fired at that position. Nothing else but because he has fired at that position. And he pips Pant in that role for me. Number three, I think I'll go Samson over Pant any day on any given mode of mine as well. And number four, I'm going to be playing Surya Kumar Yadav, especially after the quintessence that he showcased last, was the Sunrise Hyderabad. So he plays at number four for me. Number five is going to be Shivam Dubey. And the reason why I've gone Shivam Dubey here is that I just have a feeling that Dubey is going to be doing exactly what he did at CSK. I think that's one thing that they'll try to tap into. Just come in there, just play your game, man. Just go for the shots versus left arm spinners, because the number of left arm spinners on a whole on the global worldwide cricket circuit has gone up. It's gone up big time. So that's why I feel when Dubey comes in, another very big advantage when you have Shivam Dubey is when he comes out to bat, they hold the spinners back. They try to unleash the pacers. Then that limits your death bowling options onto only spinners, and when that happens, I would ideally like Hardik Pandya to be my next player at number six. So Hardik Pandya plays there. At number seven, I'll have Ravindra Jadeja, because let's say you're holding back that left arm spinner or even that leg spinner, then you have to bring one of them towards the death. And let's say Jadeja walks in there. Despite not being in great form with the bat, he can still come in. I mean, yes, the Punjab game he played quite well, but coming in there, he can come in and play Rex and havoc with the bat there as well, versus the left arm spinner and the leg spinner. And to back him up in turn, I think Akshar is a very good batsman as well. And Sai might disagree with me, but Akshar bats at eight for me. And Akshar might also be a good power play bowling option, in my opinion. If things go haywire, there's nothing like it to bring in him, bring Akshar in. He can do what Mitch Santner did versus the Punjab Kings for CSK. And then you could have Kuldeep Yadav. And this is where I'm very perplexed right now, because you have three bowlers out of your four spinners who take the ball outwards. So I do a burst to the right hander. Then why do you even need, Yuzvendra Chahal is the question. You could have brought in another bowler, I felt. But yeah, that's the food for thought another day. Then I play Jasprit Bumrah, no questions asked, no justification needed to given. And then number 11, instead of Siraj, I'm playing Ashdeep Singh. And this is the gamble that I'm going to be taking, because if anything, I know both of them are not great death bowling quotients, but if I have to have one lucrative towards the death who pips the other in relativity, it's got to be Ashdeep. He's probably a little better than Siraj at the death, and he's also, he's got the variations to back him up as well, and he's got the better IPL on a whole. That's the criteria of selection, which still continues to bamboozle me. But that's technically my 11. This is how I construct it, and I do still do feel that had with this 11 that I got, Natarajan wouldn't have fit in, because then you're searching for power play bowling options. But I do feel that this is my 11 on a whole. But now let's look at the squad on an overall perspective. Let's try and analyze from an overall perspective. Abhinav, what would you say about the squad out of 10 on a whole with this squad? Not on what you think it would be ideal, but out of this squad that has been presented, what is your take out of 10?
Uh, uh, I'd say it's a 4.5. It's a 4.5 out of 10 job.
Fair, fair. Okay.
So
And
I'm really unimpressed with a lot of. I mean, it's still very very conservative in its outlook. I mean, given a chance, uh, I would have actually punted on people like Abhishek Sharma to be included in the side. I mean, particularly, if T20 cricket today is a game where you're seeing new heights, scores touching mm, new heights each and every day. You're having batsmen playing with an absolute abandonment of fear. I mean, you look at what Travis Head do and Abhishek that duo is doing at Sunrisers, what Will Jacks is doing at RCB, uh, what
fair, fair.
Tristan Stubbs does at Delhi, or what Phil Salt and Sunil Narayan are doing at KKR and Sanju Rian Parag in Rajasthan. It's quite simply it's players who do not fear consequences. It's like they're living and dying on the sword. And Abhishek Sharma at this time would have been one of the best options, particularly also because he he's one of those rare commodities that you find in Indian cricket today. A batsman who can bowl, who can a batsman
Yes.
who can bowl. So I think they would have. I mean, it would have really given opened up flexibility for the side to have somebody like Abhishek in that side at the top of the order with Jaiswal. It
That
would have been a pair to watch out for.
yeah, yeah.
I would have put my money to watch Abhishek Sharma and Jaiswal go absolutely start hammering it up. But considering what we have, I mean, it's a 4.5 out of 10 squad for me. I mean, some really pleasing inclusions: Shivam Dubey, Sanju, Rishabh Pant. Really happy to see them all in the side. I mean, but that exclusion of Rinku from the side itself takes about 2 3 points. Automatically is like 3 points down from what you have. I mean, it's an automatic 3 point reduction.
Agreed. Agreed. Fair enough. And fair, fair. That's a fair assessment of that. And yeah, on to Sai's rating of the squad. Could we just have the rating, Sai? What's your rating out of 10 for the squad?
I'd give it somewhere around a 6 because I think it's definitely weaker than some of the other squads that I'm seeing, especially Australia, South Africa, England, West Indies. And it's definitely far from the best squad we ourselves can put out. So I'd say somewhere around a 6.
Fair enough. And on to Shashwat's rating. Shashwat, do you think what's your rating of the squad?
Yeah, my rating is also very similar to what Sai has given, somewhere around 6.5, because I'm very happy that they've selected Samson and Dubey. Still not sure if they'll play him or not, we play them or not, but the fact that they are part of the squad, but obvious deductions for not having Rinku Singh, not having Natarajan. So probably a 6, I think, will be what I'll go with.
Yeah, that's a very very fair assessment, and mine would also be around the same range, 5.56. And more than the fact of Rinku Singh not being there, I'm very angered by the fact that Ruturaj Gaikwad missed out ahead of Shubman Gill. I'm very angered by the fact that Natarajan missed out. So there are a lot of questionable selections that have been made, but at the end of the day, we yes, we can always voice out our opinions, but there's never going to be a change now. So let's. I think all of us at the end of the day are going to hope for the best for this side. We really hope that the World Cup comes back home, and I think that's the thinking. All of a sudden, despite all the criticism and hate that we bestow towards the selection committee for selecting such a squad, that I wouldn't like to objectify the squad in a word that Abhinav had used, but yes, it is that kind of a squad. But yeah, we have to just hope that the cup comes back home, and we have to hope that skipper Rohit Sharma, who Sai would have wanted for Sanju Samson to lead, and for that as well, and brings the World Cup back home. So I think overall it was a great episode. We tried to analyze and dissect almost every single aspect, and we tried to criticize what went wrong, and we also tried to correct the selectors despite not having any big authority in the BCCI. So it was a great episode overall, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope all of you had a great time on this episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Sai, did you have a good time on this episode?
No, no, I personally, no, I'm just kidding. Of course, I liked it. Tasma, it's always fun to be here. Until next time.
Done, done. Definitely. Shashwat and Abhinav, thank you so much for joining me. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode as well. And
Yes, we did.
thank you. Thank you so
Pleasure. It
much,
was a
guys.
pleasure being here.
My pleasure too for hosting you. Also, if you want more such episodes of Cricstatic, you know exactly what you have to do. The show is powered by Wannaby, the world's first exclusive 360 degrees buyers only requirement listing portal. Buying is very easy on their website for everything real estate. It's not like Sunil Narayan's bowling. It's not a mystery. So all you have to do is click the link there or download their app for a more user-friendly interface, and you can get everything real estate done in the matter of 2 to 3 clicks. So once again, thank you to our sponsors and thank you to our panelists for joining us. For more such riveting content, please do subscribe to Cricstatic. Please do share it with like-minded cricket critics. And once again, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, ciao.